Hi, I'm Joey Morley. I'm a realtor here in Houston, Texas. Today I'm going to talk about my series on home buying in this competitive market and what some of these terms are that realtors often use. So one thing that can be confusing to buyers is something called a leaseback. So a leaseback is something that I like to use with my clients when a seller is selling their home, but they haven't found their home that they're going to go to yet. So they want to put their home on the market, but they have nowhere to go. So we will sell their home and we will ask the buyers to put something in place called a leaseback, which has negotiable terms of its own, which we can discuss later. But it allows the sellers to stay in their home temporarily after closing, so after the money from the sale of their home has already hit their bank, and it gives them a few weeks to stay there so that they can then find their next home. So that's what's called a leaseback, and it really helps to bridge the gap for people who are kind of hesitant to sell their house because they don't know where they're going. Now, exclusions get confusing to my buyers. Exclusions are things that might typically be included in the sale of a home, but that the seller does not want to be included in the sale of their home. So for instance, attached lighting fixtures like a chandelier. They might say, I want the chandelier over the dining room table to be excluded because they love it. They paid a lot of money for it. Maybe it was grandma's chandelier. So they might list some things out that are excluded from the sale. Inclusions are things that a buyer might want in the sale of the home. So they might go look at a home and say, I really like that little wine fridge. It looks like they might be able to take it out, so I want to include it in the sale. Now, bear in mind that even though people will exclude things from their listing, everything in real estate is negotiable. So if you really want it, you ask for it. But like I said in my last video, don't go shopping in someone's home. Don't go through there and say, I want all your bar stools and I want all your potted plants and I just want to take over your life, because it's creepy and weird. But you can include some things. So talk to your realtor about that. I also often get the question from my sellers about taxes and mortgages and even HOA fees. Oh, my taxes are due 3 days before closing. My mortgage is due the day of closing. Should I pay it? Yeah, you should pay it because you will get credited for it later. So you may be without the money for a few weeks while the bank realizes that you closed and sold the loan and you satisfied the mortgage and you had just made a payment. Don't worry, that will be taken care of. Doing that and waiting a few weeks for your money is much better than a ding on your credit. So make sure you pay those things. And then lastly, in Texas, we have something called a homestead exemption. And I always talk to my clients about filing for their homestead exemption. The rules changed in 2022. So now a new homeowner can file for their exemption right at closing, right after closing. You used to have to wait until the next year. Now it's right after closing, and it's about a 20% savings on your property taxes. So you definitely want to file for your homestead if you're going to be living in that home as your primary residence. So on my next video series, I'm going to talk about investing and what homeowners should be looking for and home buyers should be looking for when they're doing their inspections on their houses. So come back next time.